Welcome back. You're still watching the Business Portal on the corporate world. And for our next segment, we're trying to share with you this new company that's trying to give us better ways of commuting here in the city and in other parts of the metro. Have you ever had difficulty finding perhaps a cab recently? I know that it's been a problem for most Filipinos for the past weeks. And today we're going to talk to the CEO of Micab, a cab hailing company with a unique application for not just the drivers but also for the consumers. It's my pleasure to welcome on the show the CEO of Micab, Mr. Eddie Ibanez.
Hi, hello. Good
Welcome
morning.
to the show,
Thank
sir.
you for inviting me.
Tell us about Micab and what you are offering to the riding public.
Yeah. So Micab, it's a taxi hailing platform. It lets passengers get their cab via their smartphones. We offer no booking fees. There's no surge pricing.
No booking fees, no surge pricing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that's our unique selling proposition. And we're using advertising to subsidize the earnings or the revenues. That's why we can offer that features.
Currently, sir, where is Micab available? Is it just in Metro Manila?
Currently, we're live in 3 cities. We're now live in Cebu, Manila, and Baguio. We're targeting to go live in Iloilo, and then next Bacolod and CDO.
Wow. What struck me when you talked about Micab is the fact that you said that there's no booking fee and no surcharge. So perhaps to our viewers, they're asking, how will Micab earn and how will this be sustainable?
Yeah. So basically, in terms of business model, it's actually very unique now because like we're just the ones doing it. We're betting via advertising. So basically, once the passenger is inside the cabs, there's tablets there that plays advertising. So in that way, that's where we're earning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how is this available to the public? Do the drivers earn, or is it purely from the advertisers that you get?
Yeah. So basically, the passengers, all they need to do is to download the app, Micab, from app stores and play stores, and they can now start using the app, and they can hail the ride. And then once they're inside, so the taxi drivers there has tablets. Taxi drivers also, the tablet that we're deploying inside the cabs, it's dual purpose. No? So if there's no passenger, it will act as a passenger hailing device. It will tell them where the passenger is. And then once the passenger is inside, since they know the address and all, it will play advertising. So it will play advertising, and that now, it's now an advertising interface.
So it's really smart advertising in the sense that more or less, because you know the location where the passenger is going, you give ads that are in close proximity to where the person is? Is
because
that how
like
it works?
Our advertising, we call it smart advertising. No?
Right.
So basically, advertisers can actually pinpoint specific demographics by consumers. For example, they can pinpoint specific locations, specific time. For example, like you're a fast food restaurant and you want to advertise to a certain location for like maybe schools at this particular hour, maybe like 11 to 1 p.m. No? So you can actually do that via Micab.
I see. And so a lot of people, whenever they want to try a new application, especially for transport or for cabs, they're thinking of security and safety. How does Micab ensure that for the riding public, they really get a safe mode of transportation?
So I think that's one of the advantages of using Micab instead of like just hailing it via the street. Because once you use Micab, there's actually a system in place already. Like for example, before when you ride a cab, if anything happens inside the cab, you and the drivers, you're just the only person who knows what's happening. But now since there's Micab in place, so someone is monitoring, you can actually rate your ride after the trip. So you can either commend or file a complaint. And then our customer service will just like do the investigation and then like penalize the driver if needed, or like give incentives if they're performing well. So with Micab, we can assure the security because like we now have a way to monitor the actual ride.
I see. And so that's where your confidence is when it comes to just making sure that your riders are safe.
Yes.
So right now, you're looking for both drivers and passengers and advertisers. I think there are three people you're targeting. So perhaps you can briefly share on what you need from them and how they can get in touch with Micab.
Yeah. So firstly, because basically we need the supply, no. So especially in Metro Manila, because like there's our number of bookings actually skyrocketed for the past few weeks. So we're looking for partners in terms of taxis. So if you own a fleet of taxis, feel free to approach Micab. They can actually like email info@micab.co.
info@micab.co.
Or they can just visit our website micab.co, and there's like a form there to do partnerships. Also for advertisers, we brand it as My Ads, no? So they can actually go to our site also, myads.ph, and then like send some inquiries there. For the passengers naman, it's available via App Store and Play Store, so they can just download it and start getting the ride.
So both iOS and Android, they'll be able to access your application. Let's talk about My Ads briefly, because this is something that's new in the riding industry, I believe. So you're saying that the ads that they see on the tablet in the taxi allows you to ensure that there's no surge pricing, that there's no booking fee. And so what kind of industries are you looking for in these ads?
So basically our target, because it depends on the target market that we have now. Like the target market that we have, it's actually people who ride cabs. So who are these kinds of people? Like maybe in the BPO industry, no? So like maybe BPO companies can actually do their advertising there. Establishments like restaurants, hotels, no? Because like some of the foreigners or some of the tourists, right, ride a cab or get a cab. No? So basically, in terms of target market, we're targeting that BPO establishments, even like electronics companies like cell phones. No,
Sir Eddie, when did you decide to start Micab, and what really pushed you to use this innovative way of both the riding industry and also the ad industry? Maybe a short history of Micab.
So the company actually started 2012 pa, no? It's
2012.
actually like far off, 2012. Our main business model at that time is purely booking fees. So there's no advertising at the time. But we learned from our experiences, no? Based on our experience, the competition came in the Philippines, Grab, Uber, so they came in and they subsidized heavily in terms of fares. So we cannot actually compete if we base our business model on the booking fee. That's why we decided to like tweak the business model and offer the ride for free. In return, show advertising to our consumers. So it's working well in Cebu. In fact, like since 2014, we've been doing advertising there, so it's working well. And we decided Manila needs an alternative also, so we decided to expand to other areas.
When did you start the expansion in Manila?
We just started last month, actually.
Wow, and how has it been so far? I think you came at the right place at the right time here in Manila.
So we actually have, we were just talking about it a while ago, we actually have a good problem, it's still a problem. As I've said, the number of bookings skyrocketed. So like, what we need now is to beef up our supply, number of cabs, because we just started last month, right? So it's understandably there's logistical issues that we need to address. So that's why we're beefing up the installations of the taxis for us to increase the number of cabs, because like the demand is too high compared to the current supply that we have.
So for example, they have a fleet of taxis, or maybe they have 1 or 2 vehicles that they'd like to register. What are the requirements? Do they need to have internet connection inside the taxi, or a wireless Wi-Fi perhaps?
So basically, what we were providing actually, it's like a package, no? So that operators will not think of any problems pa. So what we're doing is we have this tablet plus data, and all they need to do is just pay us monthly for it, and they're ready to go.
How much is the monthly payment for?
Currently we're doing it at 600 per month. With the 600 per month, there's already a tablet, an LTE tablet, and 2 gig data.
Oh wow! So for 600 per month, they register their vehicle with Micab,
They'll be
and
provided with a tablet and the
wow.
data. Yeah.
And then, so whatever they earn from the fare is
It's
theirs,
all
or do
them,
you
yeah.
also get something from it?
So since we're not getting any commissions of fare, basically 100% of the fare will go to the taxi drivers.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, like since there's advertising revenues, we're actually sharing that part of revenue to the taxi drivers and the taxi operators.
So they still get
Yeah.
whatever it is
Yeah.
that you're getting from the advertisers.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So how has it been so far, being here in Metro Manila for 1 month? I know that you mentioned that the demand skyrocketed, but have you been getting feedback from your riders of how they're finding Micab
Yeah,
so far?
there's, as I've said, since the demand is too high compared to the supply, so understandably there's some feedback from the passengers. But what we're doing is we're beefing up also our customer service side. So if you file a complaint, actually someone will call you ASAP and then we'll
Okay.
investigate the matter. And like we'll explain also, like for example, if you're complaining that there's no cabs available, so explain the situation. We just started and we're just increasing it, and hopefully for the next coming weeks, it will increase. So our customer service and our ops are really very busy right now because of that.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, and a lot of times the customer service
Yeah, yeah.
people are the ones who really
Yeah,
get
yeah.
what
And
the riding public is feeling.
Yeah, I think what's good actually, especially in Metro Manila, is like passengers understands. The moment that RCS like explains the situation, they actually understands. No, like they at the very beginning they're very angry because they cannot get a ride, but once we explain the situation, they understand. So we're very thankful actually with our consumers to because of that.
With Micab, do you also offer private rides, shared rides, or carpool rides?
Yeah.
What are the different types?
Okay, so basically for Micab, it's really our goal. When I created Micab, it's actually to optimize the current transportation infrastructure, which is the taxis, the buses, the jeepneys. No? As much as possible, we don't want to add new cars on the road because, like, if we support if we motivate people to buy new cars on the road, then it will be congested because the roads are very small. So for now, we're really focusing on the public utility vehicles like taxis.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have private cars for now.
So you're also trying to help solve the traffic
Yeah.
situation that's
Yes.
been here with us for the
Yeah.
longest time.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, what are the trends that you see in this industry? I see that a lot of technology, a lot of trends happening in the transportation industry. Like perhaps in the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see Micab going?
Yeah, on our roadmap, we're actually creating our next app. It's called My Coach. So it's
My
like it's
Coach.
actually an application for buses and jeepneys and vans. No? So
Oh,
it's a
wow.
route-based application compared to taxis, which is point A to point B, so point to point, right? So I think in terms of the transportation industry, since we're starting this on the taxi level, it will also expand to all other modes of transportation. So that's what we're like looking in terms of like projecting it for the next 3 years.
So you're really looking at the
Yeah.
whole transportation system and
Yes.
improving it
Yeah.
and making riders share rides
Yeah.
so that there's not a lot of
Yeah.
cars or vehicles on,
On
the
the
road.
road, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not yet here, but it's in the pipeline.
It's in the works. We started it already actually. We're hoping to release it next year. In terms of partnerships, we already started initial talks with groups
Nice.
for buses, for jeepneys, and for vans. So we're very confident that it will materialize next year.
What have been perhaps one challenge that you've experienced or encountered, and how did Micab overcome that as you were growing the business?
I think in terms of the operation side, I think it's the jump they call it from 0 to 1, meaning like from the very beginning and then you're scaling, right?
Right.
In terms of that, because like in terms of efforts, it's not just, it will not just like double, it will like, it's exponential in terms of
Definitely.
the operations.
Definitely.
So I think that's the biggest challenge that we have. So, but based on experience, like I'm very happy that the team is very capable of handling it. You know? And then I see it like in a positive way in terms of numbers, in terms of stats, in terms of growth. So the numbers are very positive. So I'm looking forward for it actually.
That's great. I think you're using both technology and the great talent of the Filipino to grow this company.
Yeah.
We don't have much time anymore, Sir Eddie, so I'd like you to just invite our viewers to try out Micab and the other opportunities that that you have in store for them.
Yeah. So for our viewers, I'm inviting you to actually try Micab. I think the point of using Micab is not just actually to get a ride, but to help us improve the taxi industry, because we basically need your help in terms of rating our taxi drivers, in terms of like rating their performance, putting some comments, because basically we cannot do this, as I've been saying, we cannot do this overnight, but we need your help to actually improve our taxi service. The more you rate, the more we know their performance, the more we can take out the bad drivers from the good ones, replace them with better ones, right? So hoping that you'll help us improve this industry by using Micab.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Sir Eddie. It's been a pleasure
Thank
learning
you.
from you, and I wish Micab many more years of growth here in the Philippines. You've just heard it from the CEO of Micab, Mr. Eddie Ibanez, and on behalf of my co-host, Mr. Howell Mabalot, this has been Renelyn Tan Castillejos. Thank you for watching, and see you again next week.